My dear friends, I'm recording this because I want to give account of an extraordinary event that took place in my life during the months of January and February of this year. Diana and I took a mini sabbatical in my own country, in Uruguay, the country where I was reared, from which I immigrated 51 years ago. During that time, I have visited Uruguay, possibly 24 times, but never for more than a week at a time, two maximum, and always interspeeding family visit with work, with public speaking, interviews, media presentations, sermons, etc. And so this is the first time that I've dedicated the bulk of almost 2 months to visiting my family, visiting my country, visiting my roots. And I did it with my wonderful wife, who took care of me and made sure that I did not overdo it in terms of getting involved in work. I did work some, perhaps 20-25% of the time. I spoke a dozen times publicly, etc. But in 2 months, I had ample time to get to know my sisters. I had ample time every day to walk with Diana, something we had never done together, is exercise together by walking 5 kilometers every day along the Rambla, which is the boardwalk bordering the beautiful ocean and beaches of Montevideo. I visited mountains, and I climbed one that, as a child, I used to desire to climb one of those little mountains that Uruguay offers. And this time I fulfilled that childhood dream of getting on top of one and seeing what my country looks like from above. I also visited the colonial city of Colonia, visited an old Jesuitic mission where 250 Indians live with the missionaries, Spanish missionaries. I visited an ancestral ruin, a castle built by a distant ancestor, the Baron of Mauá. And I visited, of course, my own family in the border in Brazil. So we covered a great deal of territory. We spent a great cultural time visiting half a dozen different museums, art museums, sculpture, historic museums, the Museum of the Andes, which is a museum dedicated to that accident that took place in 1972 with a plane full of Uruguayan young men from a Christian Brothers school fell in the middle of the Andes, and 18 of them were able to survive out of 40-some during 72 days in the eternal snows of the Andes. Many experiences. I've, of course, tasted our native foods and enjoyed greatly our typical Uruguayan diet. I must have eaten at least 6 or 8 asados, which is our typical dish. I spent time with my sisters, with whom I had not been able to spend time. My oldest sister, now 87, left home when I was born, the year I was born. The other one, the next one, 82, she married when I was 6 years old. So Diana was a champion, scheduling all the social agenda, investigating all the routes and all the schedules and all the prices. She rented us a wonderful apartment smack downtown. I mean, 20 yards from the main street and 2 blocks from the main square. And very near my sister's own apartments overlooking the beach. So this was a rich time. It was a sabbatical, a deeply restful time, but also a deeply bonding time. It bonded me to my own wife in ways like exercising daily, and being grateful for her scheduling and orchestrating our social life together. Marveling at the way she bonded to my sisters, much older than her and from a different culture, and yet they fell in love with Diana. And frankly, so did I anew. So I wanted to share these experiences with you, let you know that this is where I have been. And I've come back now full of vigor, full of vision. I've done a great deal of praying, of course, and envisioning, and realized that I am on the legacy phase of my life. I turned 70 while I was in Uruguay. And now in this phase, I want to dedicate the energy that God gives me, the creativity He gives me, to continue to unfold a message of transformation for my culture. I'm working on 3 different courses that amplify the message of marital transformation through the covenant, or covenant marital transformation. And we will unveil a package of this literature and resources to the whole Church of Latin America this coming October at a major Congress, COICOM, in Mexico City. And I've bonded to 2 different heirs, one from Mexico, one from Colombia. Abby from Mexico, Nestor from Colombia, who have embraced this message for their own marriages with their own spouses. And the 2 of them are helping me to crystallize these courses and to plan the expansion and propagation of this message. So I'm coming back alive and full of vision and full of desire to serve the Lord and let Him do yet deeper work in me and in my wife together in our way of loving one another from here on out. I wanted to share this experience with you because you are my friends. You are the ones who make my ministry possible for this past 30 years, and I felt like I owe you a report on the good works of the Lord in my own life. Thank you for being friends. Thank you for enabling my visionary call of transforming our culture on the basis of the Word of God. Let's continue to do it together.